welcome to Housing TV News at the top of the hour. Coming to you from our studios in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Mary Agiobo. Our top stories. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu commissions Nigeria Revenue Service headquarters, pledges to end revenue leakages. Federal government recalls 418 billion naira power subsidy in the fourth quarter of 2025. Federal government reaffirms that a 6-month deadline for Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. And on the foreign scene, Pakistan Prime Minister begins diplomatic tour over United States-Iran peace talks. Now the news in details. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has commissioned the new Nigeria Revenue Service headquarters in Abuja, reaffirming his administration's commitment to ending revenue leakages and strengthening the nation's economy. Speaking at the event, President Tinubu says his economic reforms are aimed at addressing structural weaknesses, simplifying taxation, and creating a transparent, investment-friendly environment. He noted that early results of the reforms include improved fiscal stability, stronger foreign reserves, and rising investor confidence, describing the gains as outcomes of deliberate policy decisions. The president described the new 16-floor, 3-tower facility with capacity for over 3,000 staff as the operational backbone of a reformed revenue system. He added that the restructured NRS will also coordinate non-tax revenues across federal agencies using digital and data-driven processes. President Tinubu urged the agency to promote accountability and fairness, stressing that stronger institutions will drive Nigeria's economic prosperity. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, in Edo State has intercepted 2 trucks carrying 7,245 kilograms of skunk cannabis and arrested 5 suspects. State Commander Michel Ofoyeju says the operation followed 72 hours of intelligence gathering, leading to the interception along the Auchi-Abuja road. The drugs concealed in trucks disguised as carrying cartons of beer were valued at about 724.5 million naira. Meanwhile, the 493 bags of cannabis were reportedly transported from Sabongida Ora in Edo State and destined for Abuja. The suspects, all from Edo State, allegedly admitted involvement and were promised 10,000 naira per parcel upon delivery. NDLEA revealed that the investigations are ongoing to dismantle the trafficking network, while the seized trucks and drugs have been moved to the command headquarters in Benin City. Moving on to the chairman of the Nigeria Revenue Service, Zak Adedeji, saying that petrol prices in Nigeria are now about 50% lower than the global average, while fuel queues have largely disappeared nationwide. Speaking during the commissioning of a new revenue service building, Adedeji attributed the development to ongoing downstream sector reforms and increased local refining capacity. He noted that allowing local refineries to operate has improved fuel supply and stabilized availability, reducing the long-standing issue of queues. Adedeji added that although fuel prices have risen since subsidy removal, the government believes the reforms are necessary for long-term economic sustainability, energy security, and reduced dependence on imports. However, analysts say affordability remains a concern for many Nigerians as fuel costs continue to impact transportation and the costs of living. The federal government has once again incurred 418.79 billion naira as electricity subsidy in the fourth quarter of 2025, according to the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC. The NERC said the figure represents a decrease from the 458.75 billion naira recorded in the third quarter of 2025, noting that subsidy accounted for 52.3% of total generation company invoices. The Commission attributed the reduction to increased electricity supply to Band A customers, which rose from 40% to 45% during the period. The report also showed that electricity distribution companies recorded a 93.04% remittance performance, with some discos, including Yola, Benin, Ibadan, Kano, Jos, and Kaduna, falling below full remittance. NERC noted that government continues to cover the gap between cost-reflective tariffs and approved electricity prices through subsidies. Kano State Governor Abba Yusuf has confirmed Hajiya Bilkisu Shehu Maimota as the substantive head of civil service. The confirmation was announced in a statement by the governor's chief press secretary, Mustafa Muhammad, weeks after Maimota assumed office in an acting capacity following the removal of former head of service, Abdullahi Musa. The state government said the appointment is part of ongoing efforts to strengthen public service reforms and improve efficiency across ministries, departments, and agencies. Governor Yusuf expressed confidence in Maimota's ability to lead the civil service during a critical period of reforms, urging her to reposition the bureaucracy and enhance service delivery. He also congratulated her on the appointment and called on her to justify the confidence placed in her by promoting transparency and productivity within the state workforce. We take a pause here, and up next are news stories from the youth sector. Do stay with us.
This is Housing TV Africa on YouTube and click on the subscribe button. Subscribe to Housing TV Africa to stay updated on latest happenings in Nigeria's housing sector. Follow our social media pages, like and share our posts. On Facebook, Housing TV Africa. On Twitter, Housing TV Africa. Instagram, Housing TV Africa.
Welcome back. Glad to have you join us on Housing TV News. And now to the beauty sector. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has praised the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, for transforming Abuja's landscape and facilitating the partnership between Hypercity and global retail giant Carrefour. Tinubu, represented by his Chief of Staff, Femi Gbajabiamila, gave the commendation during the collaboration and franchise signing event held at Transcorp Hilton, Abuja. President Tinubu said the Hypercity Carrefour partnership signals growing investor confidence in Nigeria's economy and is expected to strengthen the country's retail sector. Hypercity is a Nigerian retail chain, while Carrefour is a French multinational retailer operating over 14,000 stores in more than 40 countries. The federal government has reaffirmed its commitment to completing the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway within 36 months, citing steady progress on key sections of the project. Officials from the Ministry of Works, during an inspection of Section 3B in Cross River State, says the level of equipment deployment, manpower, and community cooperation support the completion timeline. Contractor Hitech Construction Company has also intensified work with about 4.5 kilometers of the 30-kilometer stretch already completed despite challenging terrain. The government also noted that local community participation has boosted productivity, while the project is already delivering economic benefits to residents along the corridor. Moving on to the Lagos State government urging allottees of its housing estates to strictly comply with allocation guidelines and contribute to maintaining a sustainable living environment. Commissioner for Housing, Moruf Akinderu Fatai, made the appeal during a stakeholder meeting and public enlightenment session held at Oba Adegboruwa Housing Estate, Igbobo, Ikorodu, represented by the Permanent Secretary Abdul Hafiz Toriola. The commissioner said the engagement was aimed at gathering residents' feedback and improving living conditions across state-owned estates. He stressed the need for residents to tackle ownership of their estates, adhere to regulations, and support government efforts in maintaining infrastructure and orderliness. And now to the foreign scene. Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has begun a 4-day diplomatic visit to Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and Turkey as global efforts intensify around possible US-Iran peace talks. According to Pakistan's Foreign Ministry, the visit will focus on bilateral relations and regional diplomacy, with Sharif expected to attend the Antalya Diplomacy Forum in Turkey and hold meetings with President Recep Tayyip Erdogan and other leaders. The trip comes amid ongoing tensions in the Middle East following recent conflicts between the United States, Israel, and Iran, as well as renewed efforts to stabilize the region through negotiations. Sharif is accompanied by senior officials, including Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar, as discussions continue on security and economic cooperation across the region. That's the much we can take on Housing TV News at the top of the hour, but before we go, let's take a recap of our top stories. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu commissions Nigeria Revenue Service headquarters and pledges to end revenue leakages. Federal government records 418 billion naira power subsidy in the fourth quarter of 2025. Federal government reaffirms 36-month deadline for Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. And on the foreign scene, Pakistan Prime Minister begins diplomatic tour over United States-Iran peace talks. For more news on the housing sector, subscribe to Housing TV Africa on YouTube and follow Housing TV on all social media platforms. Download the Housing TV Africa mobile app on Google Play Store and Apple Store. I am Mary Agyobo. Bye for now.